What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 57 of Park to Prem here with Town or Town. Today we are back and we start on the profile of Cyril Baumann, who is a French player who you might remember a couple of episodes ago we talked about the fact we had pre-agreed to sign him. That signing has now gone through. This one of those regen to generate as a free agent. We picked him up. Interesting player, really good physicals, well-rounded mentals, and actually fairly okay-ish technicals. Easily the most easy area to improve of a player, the technicals. So I'm less concerned about that. But we're going to be training him to play as a wing-back. But yeah, worth kind of remembering the name, I guess, as much as anything. Because if we look at the club page here, he is listed as our hot prospect. You can see Smolyo, now officially our key player. I feel like that is a little unsurprising. Although he's not available for today's game, and as you can see from his injury history here, he has been out with a thigh strain for the last 3 to 4 weeks, which has opened up a door, an opportunity for the one, the only, I mean, it's the most satisfying name in the world to say, Michael McMenamin. What a name. And the 20-year-old has actually done okay for us. Of course, Northern Irish player, we picked him up from Linfield on a free transfer at the start of the year. 2 clean sheets in 5. He's done okay for us. Just in a little bit more team news while I remember it, Paul Embleton has agreed an extension to his loan until the end of next year, so thank you very much, Barnsley, one of our starting centre-backs and one of the real pillars, I guess, of the team this year, secured on a contract for another season, which is absolutely huge for us. Of course, last episode was a live comp double header. It was against Bradford and Stockport. If you missed it, do go check it out. Some vital games. And, well, if you watched that episode, you know how well things went at the end of January. Since then, you can see we've played through 8 matches in the league. I was about to say in all competitions, which I guess technically is also correct. Of course, in terms of cup runs, it's been a bit of a, not a disappointing season necessarily, but at least since the turn of the year, the focus has been on the league, and we've definitely benefited from that. You can see, looking at this run of games, lots of clean sheets, lots of goals as well. We started off with a win against Lincoln City. Lincoln City, who have been struggling, if we just look at their profile here. Phil Parkinson, their manager now. Their manager at the start of the year, however, was David Moyes, who was sacked after less than a year in charge. So yes, David Moyes managing at League 2 level. That is a fall from grace and a half. And, Lincoln City clearly weren't all that impressed with him. And, I wasn't all that impressed with Lincoln City, to be fair. 2-0 at finish, Norris and Jacobs with the goals. We then did lose to Port Vale. This was a disappointing game. They scored after 5 minutes. Away from home, I always thought it was going to be a little bit of a challenge, but for them to completely shut us out was a rarity. In fact, that is only, I think, the second time it's happened in the league. It did happen against Macclesfield not all that long ago, but no, not the result that was necessarily expected there. We then bounced back with a few good little wins here. 3-1, 5-0, 4-0. Really convincing stuff. DKM, the difference maker. A hat-trick against Huddersfield. Not against Huddersfield, against Macclesfield. I don't know where Huddersfield came from. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll be playing Huddersfield one day in the not-so-distant future. You can see DKM here continuing to develop and has really hit a rich vein of form. And suddenly, having slated his performances for the first half of the season, you kind of look at things. 12 goals, 11 assists, a 7.17 average rating in the league. It's pretty good. So I feel bad for ever criticising him. And yes, he's been essential in this little run. You can see Shuttleworth also chipping in with some. We've started playing him regularly out on the right. You can see his determination is shot up. I guess he is having a positive influence from other players in the squad. We have got a fairly determined side. Whilst his overall stats for the year aren't particularly amazing, he was quite important in this little run of games here. So 5-0 against Aldershot, then 4-0 against Grimsby. Jacobs, another player who's kind of come out of his shell as of late. You can see here, just through the average ratings as of late, there are lots of ratings north of a 7.0 here. I guess that runs in correlation with our team finding some form. I'll let you draw the conclusion as to whether or not that is this guy carrying the team or if he is benefiting from the team carrying him. But whatever way you look at it, the 20-year-old is finally finding his feet, and he has been playing in the centre of the attacking midfield positions with Ballo out injured. Anyway, March has been a very interesting month. We started off with a game against Mansfield Town, a game that, well, at home you expect us to win. And unfortunately for us, we didn't win it. It finished 2-2 here. Michael Jacobs pegged back them after they scored very, very early on. In the 78th minute, they scored from the penalty spot via Mike Williams. And, we managed to salvage a share of the spoils via Leighton Stewart, which was good. They did have a goal after that Stewart goal, and I thought they'd scored it and they were going to win the game, but the assistant saved us with the offside flag. The next game we had against Rochdale, 1-0 up in the 60th minute. Leighton Stewart again with another important goal for us. Mampala has been out injured in this little run of games. They then scored in the 88th minute, and at that point, your heart kind of sinks. You kind of think, well, maybe this just isn't going to be our day. It's just one of those matches. However, DKM, 94th minute, back post, cross comes in, gets on the end of it, 2-1. It finishes. A huge goal there, and we kept the momentum going against Tranmere. Started off with a set-piece goal for Lewis Warrington, who picked up man of the match in this game. Good to see him have a standout performance. He hasn't had any prior to this match here. We then got a goal through Leighton Stewart, a real gift of a goal. We pressed hard in the middle. The back pass was short. Stewart, at the second time of asking, found the back of the net. And then in the 88th minute, Henry Kumwenda. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. I decided to play him a little bit because we've been going quite strong in the league, and he wanted a 100th league goal for the club. He only went and got it here. 3-0 it finished, and well, looking at the schoolboy, here you can see 4 sub-appearances this year, 1 goal to his name, 100 for the club. He is now a Centurion officially. And whilst in the last couple of years he's not quite lived up to the billing of the 4 seasons previously, he's still a member of the first team, a player who I think we will remember, longer term. And at this point, I'm half tempted to just keep him at the club forever and try and get him a goal in 9 consecutive, different divisions for the same team. That'd be a little achievement to go through. I'll probably forget when we get to the Championship, and so we won't be able to pull it off. But yes, as you might be able to tell by the fact that I did play Kumwende in that game, with this run of results, we have started to pull away at the top of the league. Today we take on Fleetwood, who are in 4th. A win here, whilst it can't mathematically guarantee us a automatic promotion spot, I think we would only need 2 more points to guarantee ourselves an automatic spot in League 1. So at this point, the promotion party hasn't quite started yet, but you can definitely, plug in your portable speaker and get ready to enjoy it, because we are really not that far away. And assuming we don't completely bottle things to end the year, we are going to be savouring another promotion this year, potentially by winning the league, which would be absolutely huge. You can see here Leighton Stewart now on 17 goals, which makes him the 3rd highest goal scorer in the league. And DKM, 11 assists to his name. As I said, he's suddenly kind of sprung up out of the woodwork and done really, really well. It's been interesting. We've really not changed anything drastically with the tactics since January. I do feel like Andre Dazelle has been a real game changer for us. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists, which isn't the craziest of contributions, but a 7.48 average rating kind of gives you an idea of how influential he has been. As a deep line playmaker, he's absolutely perfect. He's been quality, and he really has just been the difference maker. Since January, he has just galvanised this team. Needham hasn't quite had the same level of impact, but as a good backup alternative on the bench, superb. Obviously, the fact he can play left back and centre mid is really, really good. In terms of the team, this is what we've been lining up with a fair bit. You might be able to tell the regen's looking slightly different. I am now on the latest update of Football Manager, which did update regen faces. I'm hesitant to say it's an improvement, although I do think most of them are better. So yeah, if you were looking at some of these player profiles earlier thinking something looks different, that is why. You can see here Gannon is improving a hell of a lot, which is really, really exciting. Still tipped to have League 1 potential in the future. The 21-year-old, of course, signed back when we were in the National North, and well, compared to last year, he really has kicked on. Embleton, of course, I said about the fact he's renewed his loan. He's done very, very good at the club. Obviously, Norris at left back, Rush at right back. Mick Menemin is in goal. And, I mean, if we just compare him, I'm not going to claim he's anywhere near as good as Smoljo, because he's not. But as far as backup goalkeepers go, I don't feel like he's a terrible second choice to have, especially at the age of 20 on, well, absolute peanuts. £400 a week. We are laughing. In terms of general club news, finances are slowly improving thanks to a little bit of investment that's been coming in. If we look at the income for this month, yeah, £724,000 invested by the board, yes. Finally, Alexander is dipping his hand in his pocket and sorting out the finances here, which is good. I'm hoping with a promotion that he might be encouraged to invest a little bit more in the side. Although, maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, because we have got to beat Fleetwood here to really, I guess, put ourselves in pole position. All in all, though, things at the club going strong. It's been a good run of form. but there's not been a great deal happening. We had our youth intake happen. It's that time of the year. I want to say, oh my God, we got the best young player ever. I mean, we got Colin Henderson here, who looks solid. He's very, very well-rounded, I think is probably the best thing to say about him. He is homegrown in Tow Law. You can see here, from a town with a population of 2,500 people. He's a supporter of the club. Volatile media handling with low determination. I don't particularly love, but we'll try and look beyond it. Hopefully he has as much potential as our staff seem to believe that he could have. Apparently he could improve a lot in the future. Of course, if we just look at the facilities, whilst the actual training and youth facilities for us are distinctly potato, we do have excellent youth recruitment and exceptional academy coaching. I believe academy coaching impacts the potential ability... correct me if I'm wrong here, Football Manager scholars. I believe that academy coaching is the current ability of players who generate at the club. Youth recruitment is the potential of those players that generate at the club. Training facilities is obviously the training facilities for anyone who's at the club, including new gens and just actual players across all the squads. And then the youth facilities... Maybe the youth facilities impact the youth squads. Either way, I believe academy coaching and youth recruitment affect generated players' current ability and potential ability rather than any of their actual development. 99.9% sure that's the case, because Seb over at Sports Interactive, I've chatted with him about it. We discussed this. I'm confident that that's the case. You can see here, by the way, the stadium has 2,000 seats. This was something that I talked about last episode. We've had some weird stadium works going on, which has limited our capacity. We have one of our main stands is a standing stand. Try saying that quickly. But fans can't go in there because it has to be seated standing in the Football League. So our attendances prior to our renovation were kind of around 600 to 700. Since then, the things have picked up. We're getting in excess of 1,000 fans to pretty much every home game. I do wonder if that's in part down to our good run of form as well. Either way, a little bit of positivity perhaps to take going into the future. So anyway, let's get into the game against Fleetwood. I do feel like a little bit of a broken record, but you might be able to hear some raspiness in my voice. I am still feeling under the weather, still trying to record a load of videos before I go away on holiday. You're watching this, I'm probably soaking up the rays in a Centre Parks, which is like a campsite thing. That undersells it. Google it, Centre Parks. It's a lovely place. But yeah, that's where I am. That's why you're seeing this now, and why I'm having to force myself to record whilst sick. I could take the time off while I'm on holiday and just say I'm not going to upload, but I want to give you guys stuff to watch, because when I don't upload, people go, Jack, where's the video? My lunch break's been ruined, Jack. And I don't want to ruin anyone's lunch break. I take that quite personally, as someone who loves their own little rituals when it comes to their lunch break. Anyway, let's get into this. I say that. 20 minutes has gone. Nothing's happened. Fleetwood in fourth. We're top of the league. Given our recent form, I really back us to win this. We've been playing really well lately. Just getting good results. Yes, we played against lesser opposition, but it all came after that Bradford result. I feel like that was really where the wheels started going into motion, and we really, started to become this machine that has just seen us plough to the top of the league and, run away with it a little bit. And certainly against a fourth place Fleetwood, you would now expect us, despite their good recent form, to beat them, albeit away from home. That's certainly going to be the aim, although Simpson skips past our man here, cuts inside, and McMenamin, a name that I absolutely love to say. It sounds like a superhero name, McMenamin. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe it sounds like a new addition to the Big Mac family. Who knows? The McMenamil? I don't know. We can do a promotion, Towler or McDonald's. McDonald's Gaming. Is McDonald's Gaming a thing? I know KFC have their gaming thing. McDonald's Gaming, contact me. I've got a amazing idea. That doesn't work as a pun, does it? Right. It's half time. It's 0-0. That's why we've been forced to do these puns, because nothing's happening on the bloody pitch. He's made 3 saves, to be fair, McMenamin. Apparently Embleton is looking nervous. I mean, he's motivated at the very least, but I feel like to feel nervous against a game in this game, questionable. Weakness mentally. It's a good job we've not signed him permanently, isn't it? Set piece here, Shuttleworth. What can you do? The Bolton boy overhits it to Mr. Nervous himself. He's given away the ball. Better Call Saul. He's bringing it forward. Bearing down on our goal. Lays it across to Denny. They have got a lot of men in this counter-attack. What are we doing at right back? What's happening here? Name and shame. It's Shuttleworth. He's not picked up his man. They've headed it wide. That's a warning shot. We've had 4 shots on target so far in the first hour of this match. It's not been the craziest of matches. I was expecting after some of the ridiculous results we've had lately, this would be more of the same. But it's not been. Fleetwood have proved stern opposition. And while Denny bringing it forward and slots it in. I mean, that's a nice goal. Fair play, Bobby Denny. Bobby Denny really sounds like an 80s footballer name to me. His 9th goal of the season. Little bit Route 1, but we're not here to judge. You've got to do what you've got to do to get results. I'm thinking, let's make some changes here. Would Smolyo have got there? We may never know. An hour gone, though. Shuttleworth's been poor. I'm going to bring in Ballo, who has had his fair share of injury worries this year. He's still not fully match fit, but a good chance to play him here. What else do I want to do? I'm going to bring in Leighton Stewart for Mampala. Part of me wants to take off DKM, but I feel like DKM is the kind of player who has an awful match, and then he'll just pop up with an 87th minute goal. If he could do that today, that would be lovely. But that's kind of the kind of player DKM is. He just seems to be in the right place at the right time, and he's got the endurance, he's got the pace, and he's got the aerial ability to just be that player who runs down the wing, finds space and just, I don't know, he's got it in the tank still, I guess, when it comes to the last 10 minutes of a game. As they have another cross that goes near, the header over the crossbar once more. We are now on the attack here. It's with Rush, the right back, inside to Jacobs, who whips in. DKM's there. I mean, there you go. That's why you don't take him off. He has a rubbish game and then he just turns up with a big header at the back post. He absolutely loves it. He's the modern-day wide target man. I'm aware of the fact he isn't playing the wide target man role. But Jacobs as well with the banana boots to the back post. And having seen Fleetwood head over again and again and again, DKM's gone, you know what? I'm pretty good at that heading thing. I'll do it and show them how it's done. Let's hope they've not been taking notes as the ball's whipped in. Denny, I mean, there you go. If DKM's there, he heads it into the top corner. Weak Fleetwood. I was expecting more from you. I want to do one last shout to demand more. We're going to try and play out from the back. McMenamin to Embleton. Andre Dazelle taught him up, bigged him up, spreads the play superbly to Norris. Look at him go. Turns on the afterburners. He's got pretty good pace, Norris. Although, from that cross, not ideal. Although we could force a turn. What? Sorry. I want to tell you what's happened. You just have to kind of look at that kind of goal. Ballo, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like karate kicked it from 30 yards out into the top corner. I don't know what Bagley's doing here, but it falls to him. I mean, what is that? It's anime-like. He jumps up in a vertical straight line with his leg outstretched. It just pings off it and flies into the top corner. I love it. 2-1 up, 10 minutes left. Free kick on the edge of the box, though. There could be more goals in it. And after, a quiet start to the game, this game has burst into life. I'm still reeling from that goal we've just witnessed. Please in the comments, I want an adjective for how you would describe that goal. Feel free to go back and watch it. One word, describe Ballo's goal, go. Dinks it to where's DKM? Where is he? It's like where's Wally but with DKM. There he is, he's on the ball. Denny bringing it forward for them. Dazelle, look at that tackle from the deep line playmaker. The Tom Brady of League 2 they call him. Gives it to Stewart, lovely run, finish. A little tame in the end, tried to corral it, caress it. Into the bottom corner. Didn't quite work out in the end. 4 minutes left. We're 2-1 up. I'm happy for this game to end here and now. It's going to end here and now. Again, we come back from behind. We're making a habit of this, but, I'm not going to complain one little bit. Sure, it would be lovely to keep clean sheets, but there's something oddly inspiring about coming back from behind. I have just seen, and you may have spotted it, I have just seen 7 players on international duty for the next game against Scunthorpe. Okay. Well, I've not had the option to postpone the game, so I assume we've got enough men for a squad. But that could be a little bit of a concern. You can see Jacobs, a little bit of a fitness concern with him. He's been playing a lot of football for us, the centre attacking mid, but he really has started to find his groove, which is leaving me with a hell of a lot of optimism going forward. The 20-year-old, he's played all 20 of our last 20 matches, and his contributions really have just stepped up a whole new level, it feels like, ever since we've really cemented him now as our centre attacking midfielder. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up this episode from me. I think with that result, whilst we're not 100% guaranteed automatic promotion, it's safe to assume we are up. Next episode will be the end of season live com. If going into the last game of the year, which I believe is against Chesterfield, we are still battling it out with Bradford and there is a chance they can leapfrog us to win the league, we'll be back for that. If not, we'll start things just at the end of the year. Maybe go a little bit more in depth with what's happening in England across all the leagues. Have a look through our youth squads. You know, some of the stuff that I don't necessarily show in other end-of-season roundups because, unlike previous years, it feels like we're going to put a nice bow on things with games in hand, which would be unheard of and kind of nice. But anyway, folks, that's going to wrap up everything from me today. I do hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, drop a like on it. Super appreciated. I'll catch you again soon. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.